And with so much uncertainty surrounding the economy, business owners and everybody else are growing concerned about the impacts on all of us, especially small business owners who are still dealing with the aftermath of the COVID pandemic and a lot of other factors, including trying to find enough people to hire. Joining us with more about that and today's interest rate announcement and other issues is Chris Markowski of Markowski Investments. Thank you for joining us, Chris. First of all, the situation we're in is almost like a perfect storm of things coming together. A lot of things that were done without a lot of thought maybe, and other things that were just kind of out of everybody's control.
Well, yeah, I often like to allude to oftentimes government or the Capitol building as the grand cathedral of unintended consequences. Yeah, we had COVID, we had all of these issues that we had to deal with, but the idea that we could just print all of this money and just haphazardly just spread it all over the country and there not be any sort of blowback or repercussions from that is patently absurd. Last year we had, the Federal Reserve telling us that inflation was transitory, which I quite frankly, I couldn't get my arms around. It was almost like that they were wishful thinking. They had their fingers crossed, hoping it would go away when, you had, trillions of dollars that are sloshing around. Of course it was going to be a factor. And right now, the American people are paying it back in the form of what we'd like to call the inflation tax. That's what inflation is. It's a tax.
And at the time, we were having money poured into the economy through plans that were designed to help people. We found out later that a lot of that money was stolen or misused. And then at the same time, interest rates were so low, money was almost free to borrow.
Well, that's what we're dealing with. You mentioned prior talking about the bear market. Part of the problem we're having in the stock market. A lot of the reasons why we're heading into that is there's basically a cleaning out of the markets, of all the companies that got all of this cheap money that didn't really have much of a business plan. And quite frankly, they have to go away. We've gone through this before during .com run-ups and other periods of manias and panics. And that's what cheap money does. It flows oftentimes to the wrong direction. So, some people like myself, and actually Elon Musk mentioned this as well, recessions or slowdown periods oftentimes can be good for the economy. I also like to equate them almost like the lymphatic system of the human body, where you're getting rid of all the gunk.
Well, it won't be good for a lot of people. If we do go to another recession, a lot of people are going to be in a lot of hot water.
Well, the good thing, and again, if we hit a recession is 2 quarters of negative economic growth, but there's a couple other things as well. You have to have unemployment rise a lot. And right now, if you want to find a job, you can get a job. And this is where, we're getting the comparisons. You can look to the 1970s. We can look to other points in time when there was a recession where people had a difficult time finding a job. I got my kids home from college, and in 2 seconds, they're set. Their summers are busy. They're working all the time. They can't get enough job offers. That's most certainly a difference. Now, that might change, and the job numbers might come back a little bit, but there's so many job openings in the country that it can help insulate whatever happens during a recession.
Well, and that cheap money did help drive up home prices. Interest rates are going up now, so that may start to collapse that a bit. And when you're talking about jobs, it kind of is a mystery why so many people don't feel like working right now.
Well, that was one of the drivers. We're talking about all of the checks that were being handed out during COVID, and then the extended money. Then there was the child tax credits, which went away. That was a part of it. Also, a lot of people, quite frankly, left the workforce. A lot of people retired and said, you know what, I don't want to go back after this. But this is kind of what I feel is going to happen is I think that people are going to have to return to the workforce. I think you might start seeing some retirees and senior citizens whose budgets have gotten blown up because of the cost of fuel, because of the cost of food. They might get some part-time work. So it might alleviate some of these pressures that small business owners have in regards to finding workers, which would be beneficial.
All right, Chris. It doesn't look good no matter which way you slice it, though. All right, thank you very much.
It's tough right now.
Yeah, well,
thank you.
Yeah, all right, thank you very much. Well, take a look at how stocks are performing at the opening bell this morning. Right now, futures are up for all 3 major indices. The Federal Reserve, the chairman, Jerome Powell, is expected to make that rate hike announcement this afternoon. We'll have updates coming up on our mobile app, our website, and of course, later newscasts.